Well, parents and students across the province are likely going to be spending this weekend getting ready for the possible return to virtual learning. The Canadian Union of Public Employees has said 55,000 of its workers will walk off en masse on Monday if a deal with the province isn't reached by 5 p.m. on Sunday. The clock is ticking. This is a deadline the government has agreed to. CUPE has said the two sides recently agreed on a 3.59% wage increase, but the union is still fighting for higher staffing levels. Now, with the threats of more strike-related school closures looming on Monday, one group will be heading to Queen's Park this afternoon to call an end to this job action. Brahman Alsop is the chair and founder of Ontario Families Coalition. Joins us now live this morning via FaceTime. Brahman, good to speak to you again. Who exactly are you going to be trying to send a message to today with the process? Are you talking to the government or are you talking to the union?
I'm talking to both of them and also everyone in Ontario. I think this is just, I'm ashamed to be living in Ontario right now after 2.5 years of watching our children be constant victims, dragged through politics at every corner. Their education has been sacrificed. Their mental health has been sacrificed. And after 2.5 years, I really think that both parties need to sit down and say, what is happening with our kids right now? Are we thinking about them right now? Or are we thinking about, first of all, our paychecks only, and now what we want more and more and more for, or what we are holding back from? It's atrocious. Our children are suffering. I do not support CUPE ever saying strike from day one. The fact that strike would even come out of their mouths after what our kids have gone to and not a work to roll first, I think is atrocious. So I don't support that. I do think Lecce jumped the gun originally, with how he reacted to the first round of the strike threat. So I think everyone is just failing our children in Ontario, and I don't think our children matter, and I feel that they won't ever matter until they're 18, until they can vote in Ontario. And as a parent to children with disabilities, I feel politically lost. I don't trust anyone. I don't know what's happening to our province, and I really hope everyone gets it together soon.
It's definitely a challenging time. There's no doubt about that. And certainly as a parent myself with young kids in elementary school, you do kind of worry about how do you handle this, what's going forward. But I wanted to, pick on one thing you just said there about, how children are kind of caught in the middle here. And that's sort of been the position of both sides from a different side of the argument. CUPE's been saying this is about the students. They appear to have sort of come to a deal when it comes to money, but not a deal on sort of how students are going to be handled. They're saying this is for the students. But I was asking, Fred Hahn from CUPE yesterday, how students benefit from being out of class potentially on Monday and for who knows how long. That's a difficult question for them to answer, and it kind of plays into what you're talking about there is the challenges students are facing.
I'm an ECE. I've worked in private daycare my entire life. I've only ever worked for $21 an hour my entire career. We don't have unions, and I've never had one paid sick day in my life. Daycares were open throughout the entire pandemic because we didn't have a union. So hearing all this from them constantly, that this is all for the children, I think is a huge farce. I don't buy into it at all because I work in this field, and I know myself if I did belong to CUPE, it would be putting my job at risk, but I would feel ashamed to even be a part of it, and I would probably walk out because I do not agree that this is for our children at all. They could have done so many different angles, and they are trying to grab everything they can right now for their own political gain. So this being a part of helping the children is such a load of crap. And I'm so sorry to be blunt, but that's what it is. And also, my kids are going to suffer. Everyone's kids are going to suffer. How are our kids benefiting from this at all? And getting 1 million ECEs all of a sudden quickly, that's just ridiculous too.
Okay, Robin, we got to leave it there, but I really appreciate you joining us here this morning. Thanks for your time and insight, and we'll be checking out your protest later this afternoon in Queen's Park. Thank you.
Take care.